Alright, what's going on, guys? So in this video, what we're going to talk about is one of my favorite fragrance brand in Jean Paul Gaultier. We're going to talk about my top Jean Paul Gaultier fragrances. I got 4 on the list for you guys. So again, reason being, and one of the reasons why I love Jean Paul Gaultier is for the versatility and for the comment pulling factors that every fragrance that I got from the brand carries with it. It's one of probably the most complimented fragrance brands per bottle, per fragrance that I have. So we're going to give you all 4 of the ones that I have, and we're going to tell you what I like about them, where I see them being worn out to, and then from there you guys will be able to have your pick of the litter as far as which one you should go with. All right, and this first one we're going to start off with this one I've mentioned before. This is known as the king of clubbing fragrances to many people. Okay, this is a nice vanillic, sweet and fruity fragrance, and definitely one of the more louder fragrances that you have on the market. One of the most recognizable bottles, and this one here is going to be called Jean Paul Gaultier. This one is Ultra Male. Okay, so Ultra Male is one of the more popular designer fragrances, so definitely it's tried and tested, it's popular. But at the end of the day, for those of us who are still getting into fragrance, there's new people joining in the fragrance community every single day. This fragrance is going to be the fragrance that you would wear to your night out clubbing. Okay, this is going to have pear, it's going to have mint, it's going to have vanilla, it's going to have some apple, and it's also going to have your cinnamon, your clary sage, and some oriental notes in the base, especially some amber. So nice, really loud, really aromatic, head-turning fragrance that is going to be bold. It's going to be one of those that you're going to stand out in the room. Definitely great sillage, great longevity to it. And so then this is the fragrance. If you need a nice clubbing fragrance, you want something that is tried, tested, proven. You don't want to have to do a whole lot of guesswork. Definitely you can blind buy this and you will pull compliments for sure. All right, the second fragrance on the list is probably in my top 5 fragrances of all time, even for a designer. This is definitely one of the most complimented fragrances I have, and it's a subtle fragrance, which is really honestly why I love it. And this one here is called Jean Paul Gaultier Le Male de Parfum. So any person who knows me knows how much of an affinity I have for Le Male de Parfum. This is a warm, spicy, vanillic, aromatic, and lavender fragrance. Okay, it's gonna have main notes of cinnamon, lavender, iris, oriental notes, and vanilla. So pretty simple note breakdown, pretty simple fragrance profile. But what I love about this fragrance, first off, the longevity is great. Now this one isn't going to be as loud as Ultra Male, even though it's just a Parfum concentration. It's kind of one of those, it'll sneak up on you. And even when I wore it the first few times, I was almost like, this is a letdown, because I sprayed it on and it wasn't the loudness that Ultra Male brought. And so I was kind of like, this might have been a dud. And then I walked around in public and everyone was like, what do you got on? That is the best fragrance ever. Like, so it was one of those that just kind of, you have to walk by the lingering sillage that it gives you. And this fragrance is definitely one of the reasons why I love this fragrance. It's one of those that it turns heads, and it's almost an unconscious thing that people do when they smell this fragrance. Definitely this is for your closer encounters. I would wear this more so for day night. So I wouldn't wear this to the club. You won't stand out as much. But people who do get a whiff for you, definitely they're gonna love it. And you can even wear this in the office because of the lavender freshness to it. It is a little aromatic, so if you want something a little bit more head turning in the office, this would be a good one to go with. It's not gonna be as fresh. It's not gonna be as fresh up the shower fresh, but definitely if you want something where you're gonna gain compliments, you want to stand out, you want to have a nice sort of lasting impression on people, definitely go with this one right here. All right, now the next one we're going to talk about is if you want to take that Le Male DNA. So there's what they call the Le Male DNA, this oriental, spicy sort of fragrance, note profile where it's loud, it's going to have that vanillic, mint, apple possibly, and then depending on which flank you go with, it'll either get a little bit more richer, get a little bit more grown up, like a Le Male de Parfum is versus the Ultra Male, or you get a little bit more of a different character. And so what they did was they took the original Le Male profile and they created this new fragrance. And Elixir fragrances have been something that's kind of popped up in the fragrance market. A lot of brands are starting to carry their Elixir fragrance. I know Gaultier has one, I know Parker Rabanne has one. Well, Jean Paul Gaultier dropped their own too. So this next one is going to be called Jean Paul Gaultier's Le Male Elixir. Okay, so Le Male Elixir is going to have that lavender. It's going to have some benzoin. It's going to have some vanilla. It's also going to have the note of tonka bean as well as honey. So really nice, spicy, oriental, aromatic, and sort of sweet fragrance. But it's going to be a little bit different. It is, in many ways, you're taking the Le Male DNA, the Le Male de Parfum DNA, and you're fusing them together. You're making it a little bit richer. This one does project a little bit further than Le Male de Parfum. So this one is one, if you want to stand out and you want a little bit more bold, maybe Le Male de Parfum is a little too subtle for you. You want something that maybe is more for dinner right? Where it's something where you definitely are gonna be smelled, you're gonna have a lasting impression, I would go with this one. So if you had to break it down, I would go so far Ultra Male for your clubbing setting. I would go Le Male Parfum for a more intimate encounter. You know, maybe you're not going out, but maybe you're having a night in. I would use Le Male Parfum. I would use Le Male Elixir for date night or dinner or something where you're gonna be around people, but you don't have to be around a whole bunch of people, okay? But this one here definitely turns head. Great projection, great sillage, great longevity, great scent profile, really smooth. So none of these fragrances are gonna choke you out either. It's like, ooh, that is a really nice presence that you're gonna have. And so definitely get your hands on this one. Blind buy worthy if you see it. If you like the scent, I say pull the trigger on it, all right? All right, last fragrance for today is this one here. This one here is called Jean-Paul Gaultier's Le Beau Le Parfum. Now, Le Beau Le Parfum was one that I'm glad I got, and I'm glad they launched it. The reason being is that the original Le Beau, when I was doing my research, the original Le Beau had been largely kind of thumbs down in the community just because of its longevity was not the best. It was a little bit too subtle for many people. So when they dropped the Le Beau Le Parfum, it was like, okay, that's what the fragrance kind of smells like or should smell like. And to their credit, when I did get my nose on it, definitely this is a really good fragrance. It's really nice, really rich, really aromatic. Now this is gonna be another sweet fragrance, but it's gonna be a little bit more woody. It's gonna be a little bit more coconutty. It's gonna have a little bit more amber in it. Okay, the main note you're gonna get that is different with this fragrance versus any other of the Jean-Paul Gaultiers. You're definitely gonna get that pineapple, iris, and then you're gonna get some coconut. So this one would be a really good spring sort of day or nighttime type of fragrance. Definitely you would wear this when the weather's a little cool. You wouldn't wear this so much in the summer because it is a little sweet. In the fall, you could get away with it too, you know, especially for a fall night. If you want to wear this as like your night out scent, this could go well, especially if you want to change it up, you know, change the mood up, so to speak. Or if you have a night where it's a little bit cooler, a day where it's a little cooler, definitely this would be a great pull. But nonetheless, with that amber, that sandalwood, this one gives you a little bit more of a mature aromatic fougere fragrance rather than sort of a loud, playful, sort of overly vanillic, you know, where it can kind of lean a little bit feminine. This is a masculine, rich sort of aromatic fragrance that I would say that guys can get their hands on definitely. But this is another blind buy worthy. This is another blind pool. Definitely, you can tell by the darkness of the juice in there. You can tell this is one where they took their time. They really invested their money in it. But definitely, I love this one. This one's a nice change up from the Le Male DNA. So you're not getting just that vanillic apple and mint. The pineapple coupled with the coconut, coupled with the sandalwoods, the tonka bean, and the amber definitely gives this fragrance a great level of character, all right? So to recap, again, if you want the king of clubbing, you want that pineapple, you want that loud, vanillic, sweet DNA, you go with this one here. This one is Ultra Male. You want the Le Male DNA, but a little bit richer, a little bit grown up. You want a little bit fresher, aromatic, and a little bit more of a closer encounter fragrance. Man, you go with this one here, Le Male Le Parfum, right? You want to get your hands on the Le Male DNA, but you want a level of tonka bean, honey, and benzoin. So a nice, richer fragrance. Boom. You go with this one here, Le Male Elixir. Lastly, if you want one that is a little bit more on the fresh coconutty side of the spectrum, boom, you're gonna come with this one here. This one is Le Beau Le Parfum. All right, there you go, guys. Jean-Paul Gaultier fragrance breakdown. Boom, we're coming at you. All right, very, very, very popular, very high compliment pulling fragrance brand that you can get your hands on, okay? All of these fragrances are tried and tested. Definitely pull you a whole lot of compliments. That'll do it for today. Again, I appreciate all you guys who listen, who tap in, support the channel. Remember to subscribe to the channel. Make sure to share the page with a fellow Fraghead. Remember to comment your video suggestions down below, and we'll catch you on the next one. Much love.